Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you weren't able to join us and you're joining us via recording, thank you so much for taking time out of your day. My name is Kevin Luciola, and I am a FranNet franchise specialist up here in the Pacific Northwest in Washington specifically. And what we do each month is highlight a different franchise that we work closely with. And we'd like to give you an opportunity to just kind of see some different companies and brands and things like that. Of course, the best thing you can do is to work with us one-on-one to find that right fit. So certainly this isn't, any way to kind of, bypass that process. We want to make sure that we're finding the right fit for you. But hopefully this is a great opportunity to, get some eyes on a great brand and maybe spark some ideas. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Jay Caparella, and Jay is going to be joining us today from Hair Saloon. Jay, go ahead and take it away.
Hi, everybody, and thank you very much. Thanks for taking the time out of your busy day. Appreciate the FranNet Group for inviting us on to this opportunity here. We always like to take the chance to meet up with new people. I am Jay Caparella, the National Director of Franchising for this concept. I'm going to push over here to our first slide, the Hair Saloon. So what I want to do today is give you a real brief overview of this brand, and the specific takeaways for you are, what is the industry we're working in? Obviously, it's hair. We'll get into that. The brand value, the model specifics, and how it might relate back to you and what you want to accomplish either as a new entrepreneur, first-time business owner, or potential investor. Just a little bit about me. I've 27-plus years in franchising. I've been with several brands. I've done some consulting myself, and I landed here about a year ago, and I absolutely love this concept, so let's jump in. The conversation here is about what is our unique value inside of a very popular space. Obviously, it's hair grooming, hair cutting, and our tagline is where men feel comfortable. So we're going to get into an idea and discussion point on what makes the hair salon different than the concepts you see out there, what makes it more unique, how does it relate against some other concepts you see, particularly for men, barbershops and the like, and what could this brand do for you as a potential investor or entrepreneur? We always start with why we were created or what the story is, and here is a gentleman who started this. His name is Mr. Tom Twellman Sr. He's the CEO, founder of the Hair Saloon. His vision was to create an atmosphere and a service that he says was forsaken in most of today's hair establishments in the relation to men's grooming. The point is, and I totally understood what Tom was getting at, because in my day, with my brothers and my father, we would spend the Sunday or the Saturday at the hair barbershop, and my mom would go to her boutique. So what Tom wanted to do was come back to those traditions, and he wanted to create, in this order, pride in the work that we do, both from our work as the franchise company and then the people that we hire inside the different saloons, respect for those that do the work, so giving them the freedoms to run their opportunities and make the money they want to make and live the lifestyle they want. Quality uncompromised, getting back to service, whereas service has been forsaken and dismissed, an atmosphere of relaxation, and a simple, refined services. So we say it's where men feel comfortable. The history of hair, and by the way, if you like what you're hearing and you want to work with the FranNet Group and ask them to be in touch with me, we'll go into a much longer conversation about the particulars of the industry and the brand itself. But again, I'm just going to give you the highlights. Hair in the history has, of course, always grown pretty much for everybody. In the 1800s, we saw the birth of the saloon, which actually was the first place in town. It became not only the bar, but it became also the place where hair got cut. It was also the courthouse. In the 1900s, the barbershop boom came about. In the 70s, equal rights movement, battle of the sexes, we start to see a blurred line between full service and barbershops and boutiques. And then in the 2000s, we're getting back to traditions, back to beauty, and people are starting to segment somewhat again in getting to the place that they like to go for their own particular reasons. So the dynamics of this market are pretty big. I'll just highlight a $50 to $60 billion hair cutting, hair grooming industry. Men's grooming is one of the fastest growing categories in the industry. They're rediscovering what we call the traditional values and appreciate a comfortable setting. If you'll notice what we see out there in this day and age, it's a lot of it. It's pull them in, push them out of the chair as fast as they can for a low price point. People are moving away from that. We're seeing a lot more demand for services again. So again, getting back to the traditions. I'm not going to read this whole slide, but the top here really says what we represent. For 20 years, the Hair Saloon has taken a stand and made a commitment to outstanding services and relaxing atmosphere to offer a premium haircut experience. Premium haircut experience, not a premium price, by the way, so we're a value-priced concept. We are bringing back what used to be called the on-house amenities. We're making it mainstream again, and we have semi-private stations right here, a clean shop, very classy-looking shop. We're getting back to booking appointments. So a lot of the traditions from the past are coming back, and we want to be the champion of that. So if you decide to think about this as a brand for yourself, we call it the winning formula. What does it take to really get inside this brand and make it work? Most definitely, we want to make sure that you resonate with the space of hair, hair cutting, and hair grooming, and that you really understand the brand value, because everything does pivot from there. And by the way, notice the pictures that we've put here. It's a beautiful setting, a little larger than most concepts. This picture up top here is the actual waiting room. Take a look at that. It actually has a bar right there where you can serve drinks. We have a complimentary beverage, typically sodas or water, for everybody who comes in. You don't have to serve alcoholic beverages. You can if you can get approvals. And we have a game room and other things that people can do to gather. So it's really a community gathering place like the saloon was back in the day. So the winning formula starts with our team. We most definitely want you to understand that this is a partnership between us and you, an interdependent relationship. That's what franchising is about. It's not about us giving you our material tools. It's not about you on your own just leveraging our information systems. It's about helping you and then you helping us. So we start with a clear vision, a distinction, and a strong team. This is Tom Twellman Sr., the founder. Our CFO, Jean Jones, she handles your business coaching. And our COO, Mr. Tom Twellman Jr., Tom Sr.'s firstborn, eldest. He is the gentleman who will help you set up, start up, and ramp up your business. By the way, talking about traditions, Mr. Tom Twellman here and his family, Tom has 9 children, 32 grandkids, and when I met with him, I instantly smiled because this is a gentleman who cares deeply about families to the point where he said, "We are closed on Sunday, Jay, just to let you know, because I want to make sure that the stylists and the people that we employ get a chance to be with their families." So we call this a not so unconventional disruption. Hair grows. There's a lot of concepts out there already. Well, what are we doing here? We're maximizing an opportunity. We're taking time out of the busy work day to get things done, right? However, we are not sacrificing family values and traditions. So Sundays are family. Typical saloon is open for 69 hours, plenty of time to hit the sales goals, and we'll talk about that. We will also, at the beginning, instead of you running your business, we want to make sure you have a saloon manager in place to help you start the business, run the business, and build the business, and we'll talk more about that as well. Typically, this person isn't a salaried employee until they hit a certain level of production, and you hit a certain level of guest count. It starts out as what we call a stylist barber who works the floor and also manages the day in, day out operations. As well, the unique feature of this brand is we insist on a saloon receptionist to be on duty at all times as the first point of contact. Have you ever been to these places where you go in and they're cutting hair and they stop what they're doing just to greet you? That's fine, but I think that's starting to wear thin. We believe it. We want to have you feel comfortable being greeted, directed over to the bar, game room, watching TV, whatever it takes to wait for your appointment to come. We also have shoe caddies. We're bringing back the idea of getting a specialized service that is getting a shoe shine. And frankly, some people ask me, well, people really don't get shoe shines anymore, do they? You'd be surprised. Absolutely. The shoe caddies are a real hot idea in where the hair saloon started in St. Louis, and it's starting to grow. From the idea of our unique value, we want to share with you what the customer experience is. It starts with the welcome at the reception desk, not just somebody shouting from across the room. You sit back and relax, instantly feeling comfortable and relaxed as they did in the days of the barbershop. By the way, Each of the stations are what we call semi-private. There's a wash bowl right there at the station. There's simple partitions separating both of the stations out. Typically, we have anywhere from 6 to 8 or 10 stations. The on-the-house amenities or services, complimentary beverage. Shampoo does come with every cut, a shoe shine, hot towel treatment, and a mint at the end like they used to do in the old days of the barbershops. We call it the walk of shame, where you get your hair prepped and then they take you back to the bowl. Again, we have semi-private cutting stations, so the bowl's right there. And frankly, instead of walking around, you get to relax and not have to do that. Move over here to number 5. We're going to do a full record keeping, not just what number do they use for the clipper, right, but a full access on exactly what the preference styles are, any comments that the customer had. And lastly, stay fresh at home. So we have our own hair care product line. We are going to expertly train and educate our team, our stylists, we call them, by the way, PhDs, personal hair designers, to help the candidate, that is the customer in the seat, understand exactly what they're putting in their hair, how to use it at home, and why not take it home for yourself. Set up for success. Every brand has its version of operations and training. If you get into our process, we're going to put in front of you 6 testimonial videos of some of our franchisees talking about the business itself. And what we were surprised by was when we asked them the question, what was most important for you in making your decision on the hair salon, they said, we like the cultural value point. We like the unique idea of getting back to services that are lost. But more importantly, we were so blown away by how much support and services we got. So this slide's not going to do it any justice, but we have a discovery day where we help you decide on this brand by coming out to St. Louis. You meet the team. You go visit a couple of our locations. And we're going to tell you exactly what we're going to do to help you start up and run the business. We have all the business fundamentals training systems. We're going to establish a hair salon culture and train you on what that culture looks like and how to implement it in your own location. We have all of our position manuals, compensation manual, scheduling, hiring manual, recruiting manual. We have a marketing manual. A state-of-the-art POS system that's a point-of-sale system that manages every aspect of your business, customer. It runs your cash register and your back office. We're going to do full quality control with business coaching. And we have all the team members to help you find, hire, train, and keep your workforce. In the initial setup, most people don't know what they don't know. I'll just explain it here. Site selection and lease negotiation, handled. Prototypical store design, construction guidance, we got that covered. Pre-opening hiring, pre-opening marketing plan, equipment, supplies, leasing, everything you need is complete here. You don't have to be at all a knowledgeable or an expert in starting a business. When we get into the discussions, we're going to go into a deeper dive and more details about how to hire, who to hire, some receptionists, and then the shoe caddies. The best part about the hair salon is we have it all mapped out as to when you start to add on hires based on guest count and sales coming into your salon, when to bring in the receptionist full-time, and when to add on more shoe caddies. Everything here is very flexible, and every business ramps up. So we want to make sure that you're clear on what the benchmarks are and how to get the business up, running, and to maximum profitability. Just a little highlight here on some of the team members. One of the key features that I'm going to talk about right now is that this brand here, given its traditional values, given what we're trying to accomplish, given what we have accomplished over the 20 years this brand's been around, by the way, 1997 is when they started, we want to highlight and we will continue to highlight some of our what we call PhDs, personal hair designers. They stay longer. The average salon in the country here averages around 18 months to 3 years for their stylists to stay behind the chairs. We are averaging 7 to 10 years because we care about them deeply, we train them expertly, and we give them a lot of freedom. They love the atmosphere, and they're really, really brand ambassador champions of our brand. I'm going to just highlight this here. Every concept has its own plan on marketing and branding, right? We call it the marketing strategy. The 4 Ps, product, how we're positioned, that is the service itself, the price points, value premium. We're not premium, nor are we cost cutting. We are not a coupon concept. We are doing away with coupons. This is not about come in on a coupon or a certain promotion. This is about come in for the service that you need, want, and expect at the right price point. Place, making sure that we're very convenient. We have a franchise-friendly real estate interpretation map that really understands exactly where the buyers are, the demographics, and exactly where we can do well against the competition. And, of course, promotions, outreach, sales promotions, community involvement. So we're going to teach you and guide you and continually work on the strategies to keep driving in traffic, but more importantly, continue to get the traffic to come back. One of the distinct features of Hair Saloon, besides the traditional value closed on Sunday and, of course, the longevity of our workforce, is appointment setting. Not just an app that holds your place in line. That's clever. But getting back to appointments. 1/3 of our appointments are booked online. So the app is very, very important, yes. But not just to put your place in line, but to identify and specifically suggest, I want this PhD, this stylist. 60% of our clients are requesting a specific stylist. We have our proprietary line of products, Saloon Black. We'll talk more about that in our meetings. We have a very simple menu of services that include the on-house amenities. So we keep it simple. If you ever go to the Jersey diners where I live, the menus are vast. There's pages and pages. Here, we wanted to diminish that and keep it focused on one service menu with simple options, not upselling. We'll talk more about the role of the owner in our meetings too, how to manage your team, develop and lead the staff, and build the brand. Hire a manager and make them in charge of the brand while you lead the charge moving forward and growing your business. Local store marketing with key demographic data information, how to understand that, where the buying audience is, and how to communicate with them. By the way, Gene Jones will support you in that as our business advisor. You are not required to cut hair. You don't have any industry experience, not a problem. Enjoy flexible hours. We call this a semi-absentee business where you do have a manager. You're not worried about having to be on call 24/7, nor do you have to cut the hair. And we're coming down to the end of the presentation here. A lot of information that I can go into in making money, but I'll give you the highlights. First, most definitely, this business wouldn't work unless you had customers. Hair grows mostly for most people. You can't put into a machine. You can't outsource the labor to China or other countries, and you can't be disrupted by technology. So it's a very, very needed service, very recession-proof. But the distinction of our brand is repeat business and customer retention through appointment setting. 90% of our business is appointment sets versus more than 60% walk-in traffic for other brands. What that means is we have more loyalty, more consistency, a better predictability of earnings. Our customer retention is 90% return customers. That's extraordinary. Most brands maybe have 35%. New customers that are transient and don't care necessarily where they go, they pretty much, the other brands, that is, maybe a 15% new customer retention factor. We have 50%. We'll talk more in detail when we get into our first discussion about the Hair Saloon for you as a business opportunity on the financial requirements. I want you to focus right here in the middle. The franchise fee is the most important piece. That's how to get into the brand, $35,000 to join the brand. You can add on a second license to grow your concept later for $20,000, so you get a price point, get $15,000. And then if you add on more, a third or more, it's only $10,000. So there's a lot of upfront incentives to do what we call a multiple unit opportunity. The investment is the second number that I like to talk about. Everybody wants to know, what's my project cost? What's the all-in? Now, in the world of franchising, there's disclosure based on government regulations. And they say, give the range of what the potential investment is. It could possibly be as low as $220 to get in, or as high as $330, depending upon several factors, including how big is the saloon. But we'll work with you on this. The average we're seeing right now is around $260,000 to get all in. And in the world of franchising, retail, that's not too bad at all. And we'll help you with funding and financing to make sure that you can float out your lending so you can maximize your cash flow. this one is a little detailed. I want you to understand that in the franchise world, again, with disclosure that government regulates, we cannot make earnings claims that don't mislead people into understanding how much money they can make. However, the government does say if you do populate what's called Item 19 and share some sales figures, pro formas, or the like, we can absolutely talk about money. What we're showing here is over an 18-year flow of business. Look at these numbers. The EBITDA, or cash flow, has been incredibly strong for this brand. Now, I've been in the business of hair several years before with another brand concept. I joined this concept because I love these numbers. So I'll tell you in more detail what they mean, but this is actual cash flow, folks, in your business. And the key factor here is it's a sustainable business over time that isn't subject to trends, nor is it subject to another competitor taking you out of the game. So coming to the close, the highlights of our ownership here: semi-absentee business, right? So you can keep your job, you hire a manager to help you run it. Multi-unit opportunity, so you can grow, cluster your locations, and build it bigger using that same manager. And here's the interesting part. It actually gets easier to do multiples because by the time you do that, you have a general manager running the entire operation. Our own proprietary product where they can only get it in the hair salon, so they'll keep coming back. The traditional values of close on Sunday to give back to your employee base. Excellent customer retention thanks to the cultural advance that we are. And then again, strong cash flow. The business works. Easy to run, fun to run. We'll end with this. We call it the hair revolution. The hair salon is filling a void in American life that has much to do with restoration of traditions and the art of relaxation as it does with the business of hair cutting. That's my presentation, folks. Thanks for listening. I can talk fast. I knew I only had a half an hour here, but I wanted to give some time for possible questions. I will tell you that the number one question that does come up for me is, are you only men? The answer is no. The motif in the culture is geared mostly to men, but absolutely not. We can do families, kids most definitely. We have a lot of women that come in too. So this is something that is for the whole family. We are not a high-end premium concept, nor are we a cost cutter. Thanks for listening today. I'll pass it back over to the FranNet group. And if you have any questions, I'm here to help.
Jay, thank you so much for the presentation today. All right, folks. Well, that's going to wrap it up for us. Thank you so much for joining us. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or whatever FranNet franchise specialist you're working with. If by chance you're not already working with us, you can go to FranNet.com, FRANNET.com, and you can find who your local representative is there. We'll reach out to you and get you started. So, again, thank you so much for your time. We look forward to talking to you soon. Have a wonderful day, everybody.